that connection between them and also that difference between them was visually apparent.
I could see that. I might be reaching, but as you were describing that, I was thinking about the title of the album, Let God feels like Malice, Sort 'em Out feels like Push.
I love that.
It's like that duality, that yin and yang.
Yes.
Because let God is that surrender, God's will, and Push is like, yeah, I believe in God, but I'm gonna sort these Negroes out too.
I'm gonna sort them out. Oh my gosh. And that's the feeling that I get from them. And I think throughout the show, as they're performing, you really get like
show. Good to see you all. I have a special guest. It's a first time occurrence for my channel, but I'm so happy to be joined with a fellow hip hop artist. And I just want you all to embrace the knowledge that he has as someone who is from Virginia and a true Clipse fan. So I would love to introduce you all to Aaron S. Kershaw, who is a journalist, a communications and marketing strategist, and a hip hop fan. Aaron, say hello to the people.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to have this discussion, and I think it'll be fun. Thanks.
Awesome. So the way we met, Aaron and I are acquaintances who happen to go to the same Fly barbershop. Shout out to Lady Clipper in Washington, D.C., 1514 U Street Northwest. And it's funny because I went in for a haircut shortly after Clipse's Let God Sort 'em Out album came out. And I was talking about the album to my barber, Leslie, and she said, oh my God, I have a client who just left who was breaking down the lyrics and talking about this and that. Like, you all would just vibe so well. And she gave me his info and we talked for like a good hour.
Yes.
About hip hop and everything. And when Aaron told me that he was going to the Clipse performance in Fairfax, Virginia, and sent me videos, I asked him if he'd be so kind to actually come on the channel and talk about his experience of the concert. And he graciously said yes. So Aaron, how was the concert?
Wow. What a loaded question. It was fantastic. Like, it's kind of hard. Like, once you leave the concert, walking away and saying it was just a concert. Like, it was art. It was truly art. I always say that I like my entertainment to be informative and my information to be entertaining. It was that. It was that kind of brilliant thing. And the timing of it all, just drawing back to how we were connected, was just really cool because we were talking about that album. And I had just recently purchased tickets for my cousin to come up, for my birthday coming up in September. So we try to like connect. And I was like, I'm getting the tickets. You just got to get here. Growing up in the same area, me doing music during that time period, listening to their music is kind of a reflection of my childhood. So seeing them perform in this moment was just, it was a brilliant performance. And I would love to just dive into details of it. But yeah, it was brilliant.
That's what's up. Now, let's rewind a little bit and talk about your Virginia connection, your connection to Virginia as well as hip hop. Yes. So I probably, I'm in my 40s, right? So I started Likewise.
doing, yes, indeed, still shining. I started music maybe at like 15. Like where I was actually recording in studio and doing songs and working on albums. Even signed like a local deal with a up and coming record label at the time. And then I found myself in a position where I had to fight my way out of a contract. And then when I fought my way out of this contract, I left all the songs I recorded with the label. Like, they owned everything, but I had my freedom. And so when I started to record songs, I was already making connections because I was doing performances just locally. And I was introduced to a producer that worked with the Neptunes at the time. And he did a couple of tracks for me. I didn't know who his connections were. But eventually I ended up meeting a DJ for the Clipse named DJ No Doubt. and he started to try to connect me with them and try to get me on a song with them. Now, mind you, Grindin hadn't come out yet. So there was one price, right? And then Grindin came out, and yesterday's price was not
today's price.
So that song never happened. So, and it was so wild because I would go places and see Push. I never saw Malice. I would see Push, and I'd be like, yeah, trying to get it together. Step it up. I want to respect your art. I'm gonna figure out how to put it together. And I wasn't able to put the number together. And the last time I saw him, I think was outside Shadows nightclub in DC. The last night Shadows was open. Timberland was there. I chatted with him, gave him one of my CDs. There's a whole nother story behind what happened with that CD and what those songs turned into.
I'm curious.
yeah. My songs turned into someone else's songs. So just say that. And and love them. I saw you on your channel digging up some of these people, but they're extremely talented, but they definitely lean on talent of the area. But that was my last time seeing him. And now just coming to the show and just being there as a fan, it was pretty amazing. So, but yeah, I was in the music industry for a while. I was managed by Czar Entertainment, which had some connections to, they managed the game, they managed Brandy, they managed, Chic Loops from the Locks. Black Rob was a guy I got to party with and hang out with. Carl Thomas. Just a bunch of different artists. But I've since stepped away and I'm using my skills that I felt like I was using on the mic to I still can communicate. I still can tell good stories and then my understanding of kind of marketing and branding by watching other people and studying it. I feel like I'm still writing rhymes. It's just in a different way.
Yeah. I could see that. What was your rap name?
Ill the King.
Ill the King. And what was Ill the King rapping about?
Oh my gosh. My music was, so I'll put it this way. The two rappers that meant the most to me in my childhood was Tupac and Nas. They were the two artists that made me feel cool to be smart. All right. There was no problem with me being a smart kid. And so my music kind of was filtered through that lens of those two artists. And then I probably had similar experiences to them growing up in Newport News, Virginia, nicknamed Bad News. Yeah, everybody know. I saw Pusha and Malice on the thing with Fat Joe and Jadakiss. And Fat Joe goes, one time Iverson brought me to a club in Newport News, and I was in there, and it was just wild, and it was dangerous. I was in a dangerous situation. My brother was there that night. My brother was there. That was Infinity's nightclub, a hole in the wall. I'm like, why did AI bring? Why the hell did Iverson bring that Fat Joe to Infinity's? I'm figuring that out. But
was there actually a shootout that night? I saw that podcast. Or was Fat Joe just being Fat Joe and embellishing a little bit?
So there was, so my brother didn't tell me whether or not there was a shooting that night. I just remember my brother going that night and telling me that he so he was actually there in the club. Iverson came there in a Bentley, and a white Bentley. And I'm talking about, if you saw Infinities, you would be like, no way they were in there. No way they were in there. It's insane. But there were frequently shootings at Infinities, and that's why it kind of got shut down. It was a bar nightclub, and people letting people in that shouldn't have been in there and wasn't even old enough to be in there, and they were causing lots of problems. So yeah, that was a pretty bad nightclub. So Fat Joe had some wild stories, but that one I was like, yeah, sounds about right. Sounds about right. But yeah, my music was so I'll give you a great example. I've been most proud seeing the Kendrick Lamars, the Malice and Pusha T's, the J. Cole's, because I felt like those are the artists that kind of represent what I did. So it meant that even though I didn't make it in the industry, what I was doing did. So I'm good with that.
I feel that. So lyrical and conscious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Quality music coming from quality individuals that even though they come from an element that might, like make you the rose that grew from concrete, like analogy, right? Even though you come from that element, you have principles that you believe in, that you follow, that guide you, that make you a stand-up. Everybody knew in the movie Juice that all of the members of the crew were robbing the store, but you knew the difference between Q and Bishop.
Yeah. Yeah.
You knew that there was a difference between the two guys, right? And so, like, there's guys like that are in the industry, that have record deals, that do songs, and they're kind of more of the Bishop character. And then there's guys that are like the Q, and Kendrick is the Q, right?
Yeah,
like, Pusha T and Malice, not quite Q, maybe one of the other members, like
Raheem.
You know what I mean? Because he's just as down as Bishop is, just not down to go that far.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's like, it's a spectrum. And so I like the complexities of people telling that story.
That's what's up. I love having this conversation with somebody who has the same like subtext as I do. Like we could just talk about this movie and know the characters and such.
Yes.
It's a pleasure because with these hip hop conversations, I find that a lot of times they exist online, but it's harder and harder to find folks of our generation who are still actively engaged in hip hop now. Because people got kids, they got families, spouses, they're caregivers for aging parents and such, but it's dope to be able to talk to somebody who is still in it and still enjoying the art form currently.
Likewise, like that, the opportunity to do this was great. I went and, watched a ton of your videos and just kind of like getting a feel for your perspective. Loved your video on Doechii, by the way. It's amazing. Like she's another one of the artists that I feel a connection to, what she represents. Just an amazing artist, talented, and then stage show. The ability to, like really rhyme, with no background track and just execute some of the most complex lyrics. Pusha did that and really exhibited that at the show the other night as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she's another artist and I'm like, wow, right? Like how did Big Pun do that, right? Like she's like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's hop into the concert. Let's talk about your experience at the show. And I'll let you take it from where you feel like talking about. And I'll probably just ask you to pause and ask some questions.
No, that's perfect. So I would start with how the show starts off. So if anyone saw the Jimmy Fallon performance with the Clipse, like it was an amazing performance. It was emotional. It was kind of like a teary-eyed performance if you let music move you like that and the visuals move you like that. Well, they did perform that song and they did use the double screen kind of tactic that they used at Jimmy Fallon, but they did it for every song. Mm-hmm. And so before any song was played, like this music came on. It really sounded like 70s Superman. Like it sounded like superheroes were about to come to the stage, but it was flashing images of, people in the civil rights movement, people being hosed down, going to the defiance of like a Muhammad Ali, flashing to a Malcolm, like just flashing through. And then videos that you can tell you were just recorded by news agencies that you won't even be able to identify who this person is, but the imagery just is telling the story of a time period and of a struggle that we endured. And then when it comes down to it, it ends up flashing a little bit more recent images, and then boom, it flashes their faces with that kind of dark background when all you can see is their eyes, their gold teeth, and their jewelry.
Is it one of those promo shots where they're kind of like smirking a little bit?
Yes, they have that shirt. That was one of the pieces of merch. My cousin bought two of them. The shirts that I wanted to get had sold out before I got to the front, so I'm ordering them from online. But anyway, but so yeah, that was the image. That was the image at the end, and then Push comes out, and of course, the reception is crazy. Like you're just like, almost not being able to believe this moment is happening, and Chains and Whips begins. And the song, for me, like I already had the meaning from the title, but when you mix it with the images, and you of the civil rights movement and all that we endured, it was kind of like a Negro spiritual, like a hip hop Negro spiritual. It had that vibe to it. It had that feeling to it. And then about time Malice comes out, you see the immediate visual contrast between the two of them.
How
Malice, so Malice comes out in all white, and then you notice, oh, Pusha's in all black, right? And so you automatically think about visually how Malice represent coming back from hip hop after being saved, and you know what I mean, and how all white represents the purity, right? And then you have the all black, Pusha being in all black, and it kind of gives you that feeling like, because Pusha comes off like, I'm saved too, but like my instincts still lean towards the street a little bit more. And so that connection between them and also that difference between them was visually apparent.
I could see that. I might be reaching, but as you were describing that, I was thinking about the title of the album, Let God feels like Malice, Sort 'Em Out feels like Push.
I love that.
It's like that duality, that yin and yang.
Yes.
Because Let God is that surrender, God's will, and Push is like, yeah, I believe in God, but I'm gonna sort these Negroes out too.
I'm gonna sort them out. Oh my gosh. And that's the feeling that I get from them. And I think throughout the show, as they're performing, you really get like I am my brother's keeper. You know that's why Malice is back. I don't think Malice enjoyed how Pusha was handled by, his, people that he was working with that he felt like were supposed to be like his musical family.
Right.
And I think that the things that have happened to them in their life and how they've always been there for one another, it's kind of like, no, I'm your real family. I'm your real family.
I could see that in their interviews, even like Push, just that sense of relaxation every time Malice is talking.
Yes.
Like, okay, my brother's here.
100%.
And for somebody who comes from a family like that, you expect people to be there for you, especially if they call you bro, or, you're in it with each other and you could end up getting heartbroken. I see that on them. What were you about to say? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you didn't. You actually, I was just about to agree with you and back that, because me and my brother are the same way. Right? Like my stage name was Ill the King. It's a derivative from Ill Will, which was my brother. His rap name was Ill Will, and everybody called me Lil Willie. And then before you know it, it was Lil Ill. And then just the Lil drop, because you know what I mean. I jumped off the porch, so the Lil stopped. But me and my brother are very similar. We have a record that we've done together where it's kind of in my brother's keeper. Yes, I am, like the same feeling. So, when their album came out, my brother sent me that record. I was like, that's this. That's this right here, right? And that's the feeling that I got, from the performance, from just how they opened up.
Yeah, I got a question about that Negro spiritual feel. Like, is it because of the guitars, which that's Lenny Kravitz? I didn't realize that till somebody pointed that out in the liner notes. That's wild.
What?
That's Lenny Kravitz on the guitar.
That is fantastic. I like it that much more now.
Yeah. Was it the guitar, or was it more so the visual imagery that made it feel more like a spiritual, or was it the crowd?
Yeah. I think that it was all of it. And the reason why I say that, I know that's so easy to say, right? But if you think about the haunting sound of Negro spirituals, when you hear the voice of it, the tone, you hear the pain in the way you sing the Negro spiritual, right? And then you hear the line, you run from the spirit of repossession. The way he says it, it's a pain and animosity, right? In it, and it has the same tone. And then you look around and you realize the music's making you feel like that too, right? And then you look at the screen and you're like, the visuals making me feel like that too. And everything makes you feel it. And then when you're talking about beating the system and you see Pusha actually go chains and whip, like he's doing the whipping motion when he does it. So now you're automatically thinking about not just necklaces, chains, and whips. You're really seeing visually how he feels. He's literally covered in thousands of dollars and, hundreds of thousands of dollars in diamonds, and also acknowledging the chain and whips, right? And he's visually doing it. And that was like all of it just fit together.
That's what's up. Now, when you interpret that song, Uncle, do you feel like it's Uncle Sam? Or is it their uncle they're referring to? As Uncle said, you must be sick.
Yes. So, yes, I have come away feeling like they're talking about Uncle Sam.
Okay.
I have. Because it represents the system that they're beating, right? They're beating that system that Uncle Sam has in place with chains and whips. And it's an interesting thing because I don't think it's the same song, but yeah, it's a different song where Pusha says, white slave owners in my safe.
Yeah.
That he has, like, that is the feeling to me when he's talking about beating the system with chains and whips. Like, if me having money in my bank account is like having, like, of course their faces are on the money, but it's like having them in bondage because they do not want me to have this stuff. And so I'm beating the system with the resources, right? That I've gained, and for them by any means necessary.
I feel that. And also even chains and whips being representative of hip hop.
Yes.
The Flash.
Yes.
Like Jay-Z saying, I'm Che Guevara with bling on, I'm complex.
Yeah.
So I just love the triple layers. Like, it's also layered. I'm sure that visual story just added so much more to that.
Certainly. It was brilliant. And they followed that with P.O.V.
That's my jam right there.
It is my jam. And I hear that, was it that record? I believe that record almost didn't make the album.
I heard Push saying that he didn't want it because he was trying to imitate Guru's flow.
Yeah, listen.
It's awesome. I'm so glad it made it.
Yeah, me too.
It's dope. And just the variety. Like, I love rappers who don't sound the same on every song.
100%.
And Push is able to change his flow and like the tonality of his voice in certain ways. I just am digging it. How did the crowd respond to P.O.V?
Oh my goodness. When that song came on, the crowd erupted, and they knew it's wild when an album comes out that quickly. And I think you said this in like a short video you did about the Clipse, like that it's always tough to judge music when it first comes out, right? Except for when you're the performer. The song's not been out long, and when it comes on, the crowd erupts. That's when you know, as an artist, this is classic. I know it is, because this is the reaction I get from Grindin. Like, and this just came out. So that, to me, I like that record. Like, if it wasn't on the album, oh my goodness, I feel like a piece of my soul would be missing, because like that album is just like, that amazing, and how they combine all these different themes. But yeah, and it's also, here's my point of view. This is what I'm doing. This is where I am. This is the life that I'm living. And it seemed like a great follow-up, right? To Chains and Whips. And that line, shotgun with your ex feels like Malcolm's name. Oh my gosh.
Was Malcolm on the screen?
You know it. Oh my gosh. You put Malcolm on the screen and then you just go, like it was, it was that kind of a feeling. And, they followed that record with Popular Demand and brought that in. And it was definitely Malice's moment. It was Malice's moment.
was Malice's energy?
Malice's energy was Nas, when Nas really first like was able to turn his cool laid back style into like good performance energy. You know, there was a time when Nas was a little bit more timid.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. And I remember when Mary J. Blige performed Love Is All We Need, and Nas comes out in like I think he had on like a beige leather jean outfit, like that kind of outfit. And that was the first time he wore the QB necklace on stage. First time we had ever seen it. And Nas was performing with a swag I hadn't seen him with before. I was like, whoa, his confidence is through the roof right now.
Yeah, I've seen that progression with Nas. The first time I've only seen him twice, I believe. First time I was a freshman in high school. Do you remember those back to school jams? The radio station over there, dude. So yeah, back to school jam. One of my girls had won tickets to see back to school jam. That was DMX, Jay-Z, Nas. Who else was there? Fab? Was Fab even out yet? It was like a whole lineup of folks. And I remember Nas, I was like a little disappointed at the performance style. It felt like he was more irritated at the technical issues that were happening. But fast forward to like 2015, I saw Nas do the 20th anniversary of Illmatic at the Kennedy Center, where he performed with National Symphony Orchestra. And seeing him in a tux, you know, and just still having that style that got the crowd hype. Especially for Made You Look, it was just like, oh yeah, he's grown.
Yeah, like that is really the video to Made You Look is when I knew it was over. Like he had gotten his style down. He had gotten his state. That's when I felt like it was perfected. So Made You Look, I'm glad you brought that one up, because in that music video, that's the first time you see Nas that you imagine he was at the park at 15, and how he got his reputation, right? Because he was a battle rapper, and he was like, you know, one of those dudes that said the most provocative line to get the crowd going. You saw that for the first time, you know, in a music video, it Made You Look. And that's why that song just has such great energy for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really cool. But yeah, that's kind of the energy that Malice came with. And it makes sense because that's like one of his favorite rappers. He did a song, Malice has a song recently that he did on JID's album, the Community record.
I heard that.
Yeah, a lot of Queens Bridge references that just tie together to the Nas I for an I verse, you know, when he said some of us were Shuttleworth, some of us were Nasir's, and then he just went into the chorus of the Mobb Deep song that Nas was in and just goes Nas reference, Mobb Deep reference, and he just combined it all together. I was like, these are definitely their favorite rappers, right? Like you can tell, like, you know, so yeah, you could tell his style was definitely impacted by Nas, and that's the energy that Malice had at the show.
It's that chill, quiet energy, like hood philosopher type energy. I could see that.
100%. And it was, I kept finding myself looking at Malice when Pusha says a line to see how Malice embraces the line and see how Malice is reacting to it. And that was a cool thing too, because he was more demonstrative responding to his brother's lines than he was at his own. And that just goes and shows that my brother's keeper energy, you know, where he wants people to really look at his brother, while Push wanted Malice to have that popular demand moment, because Malice was backed by popular demand.
For sure.
You know, and so it just connected really well.
It's dope that he's getting his moment right now. I love that. I remember when Malice became No Malice. Did you ever see the documentary?
I did. So I actually recently saw the documentary. And it was because I don't know how I missed it. But then somebody, my cousin who came with me to the show, directed me to it or mentioned it. And then I was like, all right, let me go check this out.
Yeah. It's funny because just maturity, I could kind of gauge my maturity level based on like my hip hop tastes and reactions over the years. You know what I mean? Like certain things that were listenable to me back then aren't as listenable. Like Dr. Dre's 2001, not as listenable. Like beats wise, yes, but Hitman, no. But when it comes to that documentary, I didn't fully get Malice's shift to no Malice. I was like, I don't get it. Like, this feels dramatic. Why stop rapping? You know, I didn't, but now it makes complete sense. It makes, as we understand more about the music industry, even just a little bit you've shared with me the first time we spoke about your experiences behind the scenes. It's like, yeah, the only one to walk away and really be free that has weight to it.
Yes, 100%. And and that's what I was about to go back to, because that's the line that he says on P.O.V. And the crowd said it with him. Like if they didn't understand, like same as you, like if they didn't understand then, they understood it when they chanted the line with him, and that must feel good to him. You know what I mean? You know, you remember when Dave Chappelle, no one understood why he went to Africa?
Yeah.
You know, and he felt really very misunderstood and felt like it doesn't mean he's crazy, but, you know, people just did not understand how he could walk away from it all. I think that's what Malice is feeling, the gratification of when Dave came back. Yeah. And he still has it. I think that's what Malice is feeling right now.
That's what's up. So what they do after P.O.V?
Oh, man. So after the P.O.V, they went to Popular Demand, where Malice gets his moment. But then it was Mike Tyson punch in the face.
Mike Tyson blow to the face.
Yeah. I don't know how. Yes, blow to the face. Listen, that record was already one of my favorites, right? Because I'm a big Pac fan. I didn't mention here, but I'm a lifelong martial artist. Started at 5. Been practicing for years and years and years.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing, Taekwondo, you name it. Like, I like to fight. I like to fight. Like to train more than anything else, and having training partners that keep you sharp. But So hip hop and boxing was so connected, and you know, as a big Pac fan, Pac and Tyson were really close friends. Obviously, Pac famously died after going to a Tyson performance, a Tyson boxing match. Clips of that match play while Mike Tyson blow to the face is playing. Like, so they're playing clips of Tyson's fights in the background of the entire performance, and you can't help but to keep taking your eyes away from them to the screen, from the screen to them, because Mike Tyson, the way he's so ferocious, that pushes energy in particular, like was like, you kind of was like, they are the different animals, same beast. Like, it's the same kind of person. You know what I mean? Like the energy that he was bringing, it was just that type of energy. And then the chorus comes, right? So before I get to the chorus, let me back up. Before the chorus, Push's breath control on that song, like he didn't have the track in the background. He's rhyming each line, and you know he's doing his Biggie inspired flow, right? You know what I mean? And it's, you know, what's the test of roaster if you don't test them? You know, like every line is just, it feels like he's rhyming entire sentences in that kind of Rakim way, like nonstop the whole verse, and you're like, I wonder, is he gonna get through it? Like, and he's nailing each line with the precision of a Mike Tyson. That's dope. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like that. And the way they had the punches landing, it wasn't random. It went with beat drops. It went with, so you're getting the impact of the blow of the line with the impact of Tyson's shots. Tyson, after a fight, after a knockout, like pointing at the crowd and showing that aggressive energy. Chorus comes, and they're flashing this famous Tyson picture where he's in a nightclub and he has white cocaine residue on his nose and in his mustache. And it just keeps flashing. Mike Tyson, blow to the face. And and he just flashes it, and then it'll show him punch somebody in the face, and then it'll flash back to the photo, and it's just almost like it's combining. You know how we made it into this industry. You know that we were dope dealers, and you can't do that well if you don't have the clientele, you don't have a strong list of customers. That's what my customer wants. They want the blow to the face, right? That's what they want. Also letting you know the standard of our hustle. We've gotten past crack cocaine. We're actually moving a lot of, you know what I mean? So that for hustlers, they're understanding that. And then also saying Mike Tyson also succumbed to this addiction, right? That it's like a blow to our community. It's a blow to, and it hits you like that. That high hits you like that. People spend a lifetime chasing it afterwards, right? And so you had all these connections of the precision of their flow, right? The visuals of Mike Tyson knocking out his opponents. And you know how many knockouts it was. So they didn't have, he had so many knockouts. They didn't run out of film here. You know what I mean? Then combining that with the precision of the beat. And it was just amazing. It was an amazing performance.
That's awesome. I could just imagine. And shout out to all the rappers with breath control. The rappers who are bringing back breath control. Like you look at Kendrick at the pop out, Doechii, don't lose her breath ever. Ever. Tyler, yeah, push it. Like shout out to Jid. If you've seen his Tiny Desk.
Yes, I have.
I just love the fact that they're bringing back the fact that this is art. They're not just saying words that rhyme. Performance is also an art. I'm partial as a theater person, but like this is true performance and using their whole body and voice as an instrument.
100%. That's what's brilliant. And that connective tissue that you've named about all those artists also represents the quality of their music. It's like perfecting your craft, like truly perfecting your craft. And being able to rhyme, like we grew up at the lunch table, beating on the desk, rhyming. Some of us could beat on the desk and rhyme simultaneously off the top of the head. Right? Like that, which is a skill within itself. So the artists that come from that practice that, like they can do things and try things lyrically that somebody that hasn't perfected their craft, they can't even get complex lyrically because they wouldn't have the control to do it. You know what I mean? And so I'll tell you a rapper, and I'm not disparaging him because I love him. I love T.I. But early on in T.I.'s career, he always rapped a line and then you can hear him recording a line over himself. He hadn't perfected writing his rhymes to end on the bar and being able to have the breath control to rap the next line. If you listen to trap music, he raps over himself repeatedly, and kind of overuses that. And it's brilliant. It has some brilliant pieces like, Marvin Gaye is the first person to sing ad-lib to himself, right? When the technology came to be able to do that, you hear his own voice doing the ad-libs. But this was like the main track rhyme, rapping over yourself. You fast forward, T.I. could actually go and do a illy and rap the entire verse with precision and do it on stage. It took him a while to get to that point. So now when you see T.I. do a freestyle or something, it's sharp, and that wasn't where he was before. The Clipse always had that, I think.
Yeah, from day one. Awesome. So we had Push's verse with Mike Tyson, blow to the face. I love Malice's verse. That's like one of my favorite verses on the album.
Yes. It's one of my favorite verses on the album. I'll tell you right now. Imitation is flattery. They seem like us, but only 300 bricks can make you Leonidas.
D-Class in my ear, let me see you bite it is.
Oh my gosh. It is one of, we are, I'm in this space where I'm trying to decide verse of the year, and I'm like 80% of them are Malice verses right now. I'm really like having a hard time.
Because F.I.C.O, Ace Trumpets.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing. So yeah, he nailed those lines. your listener, anybody that knows my normal voice, they know it's a little bit different because that verse might have taken it out. I was yelling that verse. You know what I mean? Like that verse was just, man. It was also an ode to an old nine when I was listening to it, like over this whole time period since the album came out, and probably why I resonated with this verse a lot too, is it was an ode to the keeping it real era of hip hop. You know what I mean? When he's talking about them being dream writers and, imitation being flattery and, you know what I mean? But you have to put in a certain amount of work to be considered the same as me. And, Pusha did that on, another song on Ace Trumpets where he's like, how could you and me be, ever be compared, be seen as peers, right? Like we're not. CC. Yeah, you just CC. Like we are not the same. You know what I mean? And it's like I miss that era of hip hop where a person can't legitimately put out an album and just put a bunch of weapons by a swimming pool and make us forget that this is not what you come from.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you are really. It's almost like when you're when Malice is saying I'm gonna turn my mess into my message, right? His father told him that on the opening song of their album, which was one of my favorite songs as well. That concept is true for a person that's really living it, right? And they can actually write lyrics that really, have both sides of that world, which Malice does probably better than anybody today. The people that don't have that experience and they do that, it really seems like that seems like cultural appropriation rather than just being culturally inappropriate like they are.
I love how you tied that in. Yes, it's like you can't see me, dog. You see before, like
yes. I miss that.
I got a whole line for every situation. Just
yeah, for sure. Me too. I mean, I think Hove lines were like barbershop argument enders for like 15 years. Like if you're arguing with somebody in a barbershop, you just come up with a Hove line, and it's like it kind of ends the argument because everyone agrees with you now, right?
It's facts. I remember the first time I went vegetarian, my homegirl was like, "We don't believe you. You need more people."
Yes. Oh my gosh! Yeah, that's rock solid. Did you hold up? Did you get more people?
For 9 months, I did, and nice. So she was right. I wasn't consistent at this.
Yeah. So you're saying you couldn't fit a crowd in there, right?
Nah. Yes. I love the layers of that song. Like, even as I mentioned that D class in my ear, let me see you bite it.
Yeah.
It's what the D class, D class Diamond.
Yes.
We also have Moving D, the drug selling. Mm-hmm. And then See You Bite It, Mike Tyson bite, as well as See You Try to Copy This Style.
Yeah.
Let me see you bite this.
Let me see you bite this.
Mr. Me Too. All the Mr. Me Too's out there. So yeah.
You just made me think of another one that is possible. The Don't Take No Wooden Nickels, the bite it to make sure that that it's real, that it's legit. Mm-hmm. That, by the way, I felt sinners by listening to this album. The two brothers, like they kind of embody that.
Yes.
So oh my gosh, like so I had that. A lot of the images and how I felt in the show reminded me of how I felt during watching the movie Sinners.
Yeah. And, so Smoke being Malice.
Yes. 100%.
Yes.
100%. You know what I mean? And it's
Sack being Pusha. I could see that.
Absolutely. The Flash, everything. And also, just to note, I ran into Pusha a lot. I never ran into Malice. I never met him. Like a buddy of mine said I was in a rap group with when I was real young. We used to perform and stuff. posted a video of him with Malice, and I was like, where did you see him at? Where did you see him at? Like, how? Like, I've never seen him.
He's so walking with his dog.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That was such a fire line. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so yeah, that was followed by Momma, I'm So Sorry. Right? Which was really great because, you know, it kind of speaks to this, you know, the conscience that they have. Mm-hmm. Right? They have a conscience, and that's the rules and the principles that are guided by their, you know, Christian upbringing. Right? And so, you know, and it's also, you know, following that song with Keys Open Doors. You know what I mean? Like apologizing to your mom on this song for doing this, right? And then going Keys Open Doors, and you can tell that's one of Pusha's favorite songs because he's just like, keys open doors, keys open. He's going, oh my gosh. It's that song I got a deeper appreciation for, and it's like nonstop with the music, a different shaped key just flashing across the screen the whole time, representing the amount of work that they moved, right? And so it's almost like that song was, you know, bragging about the money that you've accumulated from the drug trade. It's almost like their justification for what they apologized for to their mom on the song prior. Yeah. And they know both those songs, same album. So like it was, the continuity of it was really fresh.
That's awesome sequencing. And like those songs age so well.
Yes. So much of their music has, and it's my cousin said after the show, he said, all of these songs could have been on this album. And I was like, you're right. Like, even the sequence, like, it really felt like that. And, you know, the production was timeless. The content that was timeless. And plus, I think that the conflict for many of us, particularly from the Tidewater area where there's a Baptist church on every block, you know, every other block, where it's like, even the people doing wrong, like, no, I better get my life right with God. Like that's the backdrop to my upbringing. And I think that is kind of lives in all of their music, and the reason why Malice left, you know?
Yes, and all their, even just the album art, you know? Like I think about their first album when Jesus in the backseat.
Yes, he was. Yeah. He was. Which is to me, it was, you know, like fantastic. Nobody's going to be able to find it because it's before the streaming era and all that stuff. But my second album was called Sacrificial Lamb. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's kind of in us in that area because just the prominence of the church. A lot of the churches were the people that, you know, you see all these athletes that came from my area, right? Michael Vick, Newport News, Allen Iverson, Newport News, 10-minute walk from each other. You know what I mean? Like all these, you know, Aaron Brooks was a quarterback for the Saints, Michael Vick's cousin, first cousin. Like all of these people, a lot of those kids, you know what I mean? Like having the shoes to play in the sport, or their moms keeping the lights on. You hear a lot of them tell their stories, and they talk about the church, like mom getting money from the church so that I can get shoes, so I can compete and go play. The church is really involved, right, in my hometown. So it's just kind of the backdrop. And so I always felt that connection to them, that with that too, being from the area and all that, but also being like, they get that part too, that, you know, our mom is always going to be over our head, you know, with the word, you know what I mean, our fathers as well.
That's what's up. All right, so what song was next after Keys Open Doors?
Mr. Me Too. Yes, Mr. Me Too. They wanted to come out. I think that song is such a great reminder when you think about the post Kendrick Drake battle, right? You forget. I mean, you realize that because thank God Kendrick shouted out Pusha on Euphoria, right? And saying, you better go Pusha T, right? Because Pusha pretty much walked the dog on Lil Wayne. Pusha and Malice walked the dog on Lil Wayne with Mr. Me Too. And Wayne really didn't have an adequate response to it because he was dressing like them. He did start to rap like, they rapped on the song with Baby. What happened to that boy? They did. He did kind of pattern his style. If you look at Pusha and you actually see Wayne in the video dressed totally different from them, and then you see Wayne change and start dressing like them in his own videos. It's just that visual for hip hop fans that don't know this. I know a lot of people, Wayne is, but he did take cues from them.
Yeah, because Wayne was New Orleans long tees, baggy shorts. They didn't really have a defined style back then,
100%. 100%.
Yeah, bandanas, long tees. They look like, well, no, let me not do Baltimore like that, but like, like how Baltimore.
I get it.
No disrespect to my people, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody went through these phases, and a lot of people took cues from certain people in hip hop that were doing that thing. If I want to be able to afford to buy the gold chain, the gold teeth, it's a blessing to only have to put on a white t-shirt.
Yeah, facts.
It's just, it's like
can't buy it all.
I can't buy it all. I can't afford it all, right? So we're gonna make it stylistic for me to simplify things, right?
Yeah.
But they kind of, with that song, it was a reminder to people that they beat Wayne in a battle. It might have been very one-sided, but they did that. And on his own, Pusha beat Drake. And so it's kind of like, these are heavy hitters. Like, we need you to understand that, like, these are two of the greatest MCs to ever do it. Like, they do this for real. And that song was a great reminder of that. And you can tell the people that remembered that song, you know what I mean? That kind of like had, felt really good about it. And they followed that with Grindin. So, you know what I mean?
Grindin is everything.
It's everything. Everybody resonated with Grindin.
Everything. Like, I was looking back at an old script I wrote some years ago, and I somehow threw grinding in there.
Yes.
It's everything. Especially, I wasn't from that Tidewater area, but being from the DMV.
Yes.
All the cats who were from Virginia still felt like close to home. Like, really, this part of the U.S.? Because everything was so New York.
Everything.
Hip-hop was New York.
Hip-hop was New York. And that was what was so wild for us, right? Like coming up in the area and just being like, they're from here, because they came out as Eclipse before, and I saw a music video from them, the funeral song. There's a video for it. If you guys saw it, you wouldn't believe how young they look. And I had no idea where they were from. No idea where they were from. So about time they started to really make some noise locally, and I got wind of them, and then started to cross paths with them. I was like, man, what they're doing, this is big. And then Grindin just took it to a whole nother level. And so how the crowd responded to Grindin. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. But F.I.C.O was next.
That was my jam. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. That song, while performing it, that song was, I feel like the album was made so they can perform the whole album.
I can see that.
I do. And I'll say it like this, like when I was an MC, I would take note. I would perform a song, and I would take note when people responded to a certain line and said, I need lines like this. And so like, I give you a perfect example. When Tupac says, Tupac cares if don't nobody else cares, that's for the crowd. He knows that every woman in the crowd is going to feel seen when he says it. He knows that, right? And so, like, when you get skilled at it, you start writing your lines. And even though it's a different subject, you know how you set it up.
Okay.
And you want to set it up in a way that gets people to respond to it in the way that they responded to that other line. And they do that a lot. And you could tell because the crowd was just every line. You know what I mean? Like people saying they were calling the maestro and people are doing this with you. You got the crowd.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? Like he was doing that and they were doing that. Instinctively, they were doing it with him.
Interesting.
And so like they got it. They nailed it. They wrote these songs for a show.
It's interesting because like I've seen so many of their interviews in this press run that they've done, and they talked about how Pharrell just kept saying, make it sticky, you know, and that stickiness. It's like, I think I understand what they mean, but I understand what you're saying right now, whereas it becomes an earworm or like you just can't get rid of it. Cause even the beats are like that. We're talking about F.I.C.O and I hear the instrumental in my head right now.
Me too. In the chorus.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And you can tell that was another one of both of their favorites when the chorus came and they could just let it fall on them. You know what I mean? It just was, you could tell they were just in their element. They were in their element. Like that song, I feel like, you know, so if you go Mike Tyson Blow to the Face, that was them, that was like, Michael Jordan going in the game. I'm going for 50 tonight. But F.I.C.O was like, I looked up at the scoreboard and I had 81. Like that's what that was. They were in the zone for F.I.C.O. They were just in the zone for it. And you know, and then in that song, they truly rhymed like. They rhyme the full sentence, most of the bars. You know what I mean? It's not just the first half of it and then set up with the second half. And I was about to say something that's controversial, but I don't want to do that. All right. So I'll say I love Jadakiss. I love Jadakiss. But I just wanted to say something about the technical aspect of this song because I was talking to my cousin about it. So Jadakiss would sometimes do a thing where I know the rhyming word that's coming because the setup line is a throwaway line just to get the setup line, the second line to come. So when he did the song with Mariah Carey and he said, I feel like a lucky dawn, I was like, no one says lucky dawn. You're about to say Lucky Charms, aren't you? And then it goes, my jury box look like Lucky Charms. And I'm like, that didn't feel good, right? That's the thing that you do as an MC when you know what you want to say, the punchline you want to say. And so you write the filler line to hurry up and get to that place. But the thing that Pusha got from Biggie, and I think that Malice kind of gets from Nas when I think about who some of their favorite rappers are, is they will use their best line and challenge themselves to top it in the next line. Not, I'm going to save my best line for the next bar and give you a filler line because it makes half your 16 filler.
Right. And you don't want the second half of the 16 to be filler.
You don't.
And it becomes a forgettable verse.
Exactly.
Or you made it a hot line, I made it a hot song.
Exactly. Yeah.
The whole was lying when he said that, but like
he was big stretch, but it was a great barbershop line.
Yeah,
it was a great line. And so I think when you listen to that song and one line after another, the crowd knew the next bar, and it was just like so many quotables in each line. That they were in the zone. They were in the zone for that song.
I love F.I.C.O. Shout out to F.I.C.O.
Shout out to F.I.C.O. for sure.
What happened after F.I.C.O?
So Be It. And So Be It was so unexpected because you go from maybe iconic photos and moments in Mike Tyson's career with Mike Tyson Blow to the Face to So Be It being, O.J. Simpson show. Where they just incorporate O.J. Simpson photos from the trial throughout the verse. And you again looking up at these iconic photos because they live in your brain. Like if you were around for the O.J. Simpson trial, like those photos live in your brain of him pulling
trying
the
on
glove.
Yes, I was a kid and I still remember that.
Yeah,
iconic.
Like, it's iconic. So
if the glove don't fit, it must have quit. You must have quit. Yeah, Johnny Cochran. Yep,
exactly. And you spoke on the rollout earlier, right? And, you know, a lot of people might remember that they did a few magazine interviews, and they like spoke about, you know, Travis Scott and Kanye and so on and so forth. Pusha did in particular. And then the song dropped, like, to So Be It the next day, where he's addressing them. So you know exactly. So the rollout had that continuity. Well, the continuity of then bringing in O.J. Simpson tells me that Pusha thinks that song is a murder. I'm killing these guys. I'm going to destroy these guys on this song. And I'm going to say that if you, how they're saying, smoke, so be it, so be it. It's hitting. It's basically like, if you want smoke with me, so be it. So be it. But it's going to be an OJ. And I will be OJ. You know, like that is what I think they're communicating when they're showing that in the background. And then when Pusha's verse ends and you're going to the transition to Malice, it's almost, they show the Bronco driving away. And it's almost like Pusha's getting away with murder. Like he's driving away in the Bronco and you're about to go to Malice and he's gonna, you know what I mean? Like put a stamp on it too. And it so visually it was almost like the Bronco ride during the chorus was like the transportation from the murder of the people Pusha was addressing in his verse to Malice's verse.
Wow. Yeah, the chase was wild, but what the fuss about?
What the fuss about? See? Oh my God. You're the go for that one. You're the go for that one. But yeah, it visually it was just crazy. And you know, and then of course that haunting moment at the end. You cried in front of me, died in front of me. And he's doing that part of it. And the screen really goes up on Pusha's face, and then the lights is going with it. And it was just, it's eerie. Like Pusha is really like a horror movie villain. Like that's how it felt. It's a horror movie villain.
Yeah, it's like saw an old video when he was talking about wasn't Daytona. What was the album that came out after that? That had Brambleton as track one. What's Pusha's last album? Dang nabbit, what's it called?
Just listening to it. I was just listening to it when I left the show with my cousin.
I know all the songs. I was dreaming of a past. But on that album, he talked about how Pharrell was coaching him to be like the Joker, like Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and taking on that energy. So like that villain energy, it feels like it comes naturally to him. But not even in a bully type way. It's like, no, don't mess with me. Yeah, don't mess with me then. Yeah, because for me, there's no too far. He said, anyone who told me I went too far, I never spoke to them again.
Yeah, yes, 100%. So I'm going to tell you, this is another reason why this resonates with me. So I grew up a martial artist in the hood. So if I got in a fight, what happens, right? I'm kneeing, I'm elbowing, I'm kicking, I'm wrestling, I'm doing it all. And you're like, no, just the hands. And I'm like, if you don't, this is not a boxing match. If you don't want to get kicked, kneed, or elbowed, then don't fight with me. Leave me alone. And it's this 50 Cent line he said in the interview that I feel like just I can see the through line from myself, not comparing myself, from myself to Pusha T's energy, 50 Cent's energy when 50 said, I don't want any problems. But when you say you want a problem with me, I say, no problem. That is what So Be It was all about to me. You know what I mean? No
Shout out to the martial arts too. I just started martial arts this year.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm doing Kuksul Wan, Korean martial arts, Korean traditional martial arts. Yeah.
That's fantastic. No, that's great.
It's empowering. Great. So yeah, I could see how because it's one of those things that's like, I have this studied form and you expect me to not use it?
Yeah.
Just because you can't rise to the occasion?
Yeah. No.
That completely relates. It's like a direct parallel to how Pusha responds to those situations.
100%. And he's going to mirror you times two. Like, you go there, okay. You know what I mean? And there's this Bruce Lee interview where the guy's asking him about how good he is. And he says, if I tell you I'm good, you're going to think that I'm bragging. I'm being braggadocious. But if you saw me fight and I said I was no good, you'd know I was lying.
Mm.
Right. So like that's the energy Bruce was coming with. And I that really resonates with me, where I'm like, hey, you know, he said, oh, and then he followed, he said, but I'm extremely confident. So if you fight me, you better kill me first. Bruce Lee said that to the interview. You better
Shout
kill me
out to
first.
Bruce Lee.
Shout out to Bruce Lee.
True goat right there.
True go. I relate to that energy, and man, do they bring it. And Malice, again, you know, he doesn't really diss any of those people on that song, right? Malice doesn't do that, right? But, you know, he makes it clear that I'm standing with my brother. So any smoke coming his way, I'm here for it. You know what I mean? I am my brother's keeper.
We get that sense. Cross T's, dot I's.
yes. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah. You can't cross the Thornton brothers. It's going to be a problem for you.
Yeah. So what happened after So Be It?
They did the song for their mother and father. And a very emotional song, obviously, for them. And an emotional song, you know, I think for the crowd. I think it is. And you know, because you said something earlier, you mentioned in terms of being in this age group, you know, where you're taking care of different family members of a different age and so on and so forth. Like, they're in that age group where that's happening. And if you're a Clipse fan and you've gotten to this point, you're seeing your parents transition to a spot, or already, you know, past, unfortunately, but transition to a place where you're thinking about their mortality. They're talking to you about, do you want, you know, the house, or should I leave it to your brother, or what should we do here? And you don't even want to have those conversations because you don't want to see your parents in that light. And then you're knowing you bring that with you to a concert, and you don't know it's with you in the concert with you until they're performing the song and they're making you feel those feels. That song, it touched people.
Yeah.
It touched people. And so it was a different emotion than any other song that they had performed to that point. And and Pusha did his thing. It was amazing watching him do his thing, and kind of I could feel him. I could feel him. But boy, Malice's verse, because of how the Black community is stigmatized about, Black men not being there and all of that stuff. And you think of his age group, he's 52, right? So you're thinking about his father, like coming up in that Vietnam era when people were pushed off the war and then came home addicted to drugs, and then that you know what I mean? Because just to survive being out there, and the drugs were there, right? And a lot of people came home from Vietnam addicts, and a lot of people don't understand that had a big impact on our community and that generation of fathers, and them not being there because they came home. A lot of them came home addicts, right?
Sure.
And he had a dad. And so when he says, damn, I had a dad on that record, that line right there, you could see, I'm standing next to people. Actually, a few moments after that line, a guy in the row in front of me was a guy I grew up with, and we looked at each other and locked eyes. A guy I grew up with, I didn't know he was in front of me the entire show. But for some reason, I think when he said that line, guys looked at other men to see how they reacted to the damn I had a dad line.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was crazy. I locked eyes with him and we kind of was like, what? Like, and so then we had to finish watching the show, right? And then we ended up exchanging numbers and talking and catching up on Instagram later. But yeah, I was literally sitting in front of a guy that I grew up with 3 hours away from where we grew up at the show as Clipse fans, and we locked eyes right after a line about fatherhood.
Interesting. It's so cool. It's always a pleasure and a treat to get like the Black male perspective when it comes to like emotional things, because it's rare.
It is.
So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I mean, one thing that I'll say that I might have differentiated me at, like my stepfather, my pop, man that raised me, I don't have any memories without him. None. But I remember the day that I met my dad, because my mother and father, broke up at like 3 months old, when I was like 3 months old. So but my biological father was actually, with all the tough guy, used to run this city, all that energy that he had, street guy kind of energy, he was kiss you on the head every time he saw you. All of that stuff. Like, he was making up for lost time every time he saw you. And he was very emotional. So I never had like this was, the stigma of not expressing my emotions. I speak from the heart, and what comes out of it comes out of it. And then I had like that structure that Malice was talking about with my father, my stepdad that raised me, that not afraid to do a double. And all of that, you know what I mean? And taught me principles and all of that stuff. He was a philosopher almost. So I got that, both of those, that really thoughtful, critical thinking person. And then, this father that, my dad that was trying to make up for lost time and did it with expressing his emotions and his gratitude for just being in his presence. So I never have a problem with doing that.
Excuse me. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, and such a blessing. Yeah, I get emotional with that song, even though my parents are still alive, but especially with that dad line.
Yes.
Because even as a woman, as a Black girl who had a dad, it's like, damn, I had a dad. Yeah, I have a dad, thankfully, but just it shows just the impermanence of life.
100%.
That even if you can't relate now, it's like Stevie says at the end, you'll see.
Yes.
It's scary, it's haunting. It's like, no, I don't want to see.
I don't want to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it also gave that message at the end to show compassion for those who have lost their parents, right? And that was what connected people who still have their parents too, because they're also saying everyone should feel this because this is an inevitable thing. And, and so they don't cut off that part at the end. When the song ends, they face the screen with their mother on one side, their father on the other side, and let the lights go out.
Oh.
And walk off the stage, and you think the show's over, and we give a standing ovation. Right? But everything in me was like, this show is not over. I am not leaving until they do I'm from Virginia.
There's no way they could leave their Virginia stop without performing that song.
They can't, right? And I saw a few people definitely didn't know what I knew.
Rolled out?
That were headed out. And then they came back to the stage and Virginia came on and they turned right back around. And it was like, yes. And so they performed that one. They started performing that one. And, I think it was in the chorus or something. Push was like, we're not done yet. And his voice and his way and his swag, we're not done yet. And they rocked that. And that song is, a very important song to me as well, because like you said, it was the rap industry at that time was dominated by New York. Mm-hmm. And so that Commonwealth state place where close to Jamestown, Virginia, the first English settlement to what became America. Like, this is Virginia. There are, I still ride by Confederate flags on the main street, like the equivalent of seeing a Confederate flag on Pennsylvania Avenue in DC is seeing it on Jefferson Avenue in Newport News. So when Malice is talking about that in that final in that verse, and just talking about where this is the same place where they hung us at, right? That line, it's a different thing that you don't normally say if you come from New York. Right. You acknowledge that you have a systematic oppression against you and all of that. But you also have to acknowledge that, like W.E.B. Du Bois grew up in a mixed race, neighborhood in New York City in late 1800s. You know what I mean? That wasn't happening in Virginia. You know what I mean? So that's, so that song was very Virginia. You know what I mean? By the way, throughout the show, there was this one guy like a few rows ahead behind me that kept saying, "I miss you, shampoo."
We miss you, shampoo.
Yeah, miss you, shampoo. In between the songs,
really.
So when that line came, the crowd was live. You know what I mean? And I like the following line more. And your grams too. So they did that, and one song remained. Can you guess it?
I already know because you told me. So I'll have you.
Yeah. I forgot. So far ahead.
The song is so triumphant.
Oh my gosh! It triumphant is
it's like praise music.
Yes.
Because I can't help but like raise my hands. It's like being in church.
That's what Malice does during the chorus.
It feels like it.
He's pointing to the sky. He's raising his hands. It felt like he was in church. That was by far his favorite record. And you can tell they have favorites. They have favorite verses. They have favorite moments. But I think that was his most spiritual record. I think that's where he felt like if any song had to be on the record, that one had to be on the record for Malice. I don't think he would have been like, this album can't come out if this song doesn't go to on the record. Which also, with them negotiating what songs were going to go on, we wonder what's on the chopping block of this album. Like, what didn't make it, right?
They claim nothing. No Lucy's.
Oh, well, I totally missed that. Well, that's to be able to put together a masterpiece where you did not like that's hard.
That is. That's crazy. Like Kendrick had a whole Untitled Unmastered. That's like a whole album of songs that didn't make it. Yes. Look at all the Tupac material we still hearing to this day. Songs that didn't make it. But shows like a level of focus and synergy that I think could only happen between family.
Yes.
Like that unspoken language and understanding of each other. And similar mannerisms, even though it's not the same. Like I have siblings and you could feel it. Me and my sister laugh at the same things. We hold our hands the same way in our lap. Just certain things that's just family. But yeah, So Far Ahead is everything.
It is everything. Yeah, like they and you can tell, like, I don't know. You can see the spiritual connection. You can see that they're brothers and that they love each other on that record. And you can also see that, like, that same Bruce Lee mentality where, like, we know we're great. We know we nailed this. We know you enjoyed yourself here tonight because we felt it off you and we enjoyed it too. And it was just like, and I'll tell you one more thing that the song reminds me of. And I left the show and I've said this before in conversations, but this time it meant a little bit more. In our era of hip hop, when Reasonable Doubt comes out, Jay-Z is considered a B-level MC.
Mm-hmm.
He's not Nas, Biggie, Tupac. He's AZ and Jay-Z, same playing field. You fast forward, and our D-level rappers are the stars today. And so I'm listening to the Clipse perform 20-year-old songs. I'm watching a 48 and a 52-year-old perform new music. And it's like, how could they have not been so far ahead if their music resonated then and resonates now in their 50s to what's supposed to be a young man's game? Mm-hmm. And so it just also crystallizes for me that, the quality of the music in this moment now, right? In this space where, you have the Doechis, you have the JIDs, you have the Kendricks, J. Cole. I'm looking to make a comeback and really, assert himself and hopefully do a concept album where we can ignore what happened for a moment and everything, where like these guys are like at the top of that upper echelon of hip hop.
And they took care of themselves the whole time. There wasn't no controversy that we heard of. Like, they don't look like they've been on drugs at all. It's like Malice said, came here off of OZ. Now you watching new rappers OD. Like
y'all missing, y'all skipping I have a friend, local MC, who is like a hood legend in my neighborhood, where he says, I blame your old head. They left you out there, right? Like, who is not schooling these young boys, right? Like, and that's kind of like what I get from some of the music. People with their principles, not in the music. You can't hear it. You kind of feel like, man, this is a lost young person. That's why I miss Nipsey, because he also fit that kind of energy of, principles behind whatever he does, and he'll stand on it. That's what they represent. And now, album of the year, they're the front. They're so far ahead.
So far ahead. I thought it was gonna be GNX, and then lost the earring. I thought it was gonna be GNX, but no, like, this is getting so much play.
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying Don't Tap the Glass and all that, but that's fun. Whereas this is more lyrical, and I love lyrical. That's me.
Yeah, me too. And I love GNX. I love that album. It's a vibe. It's a moment. There are songs up there that just point back to moments in hip hop that resonate with me, where I know where his thought process must have come from, or he must have thought about this to say this or do this. And so the album has that kind of feeling, and it was everything it needed to be after that battle and going into the Super Bowl and everything that he announced and doing a tour with SZA and everything. But this Clipse album was slow cooked for 2 years. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's just like Kendrick seared a awesome steak, like top tier, awesome steak, great cut. But this was, slow cooked barbecue. Like, this was
some brisket.
This was some brisket. Yes. This was some brisket, and it's everything. And I hope they get the recognition they deserve, like they felt when Killer Mike got his.
Yeah. I love this conversation. I thank you for your perspective. What was your favorite moment, if you haven't shared? Was there a favorite moment that you'll think about from this concert?
Yes. I think I said it. I think it was when I looked around looking for other, men to see how they responded to, damn, I had a dad, and catching eye contact with a guy that I know, like, he's a girl dad. You know what I mean? Like, I follow him on, on Facebook, and I, seeing pictures. And then a friend of mine's, my best friend's daughter and his daughter are on the same cheer team. And so I'm like, I catch eye contact with that guy that I know is a good guy, good father, everything that we're trying to be, you know what I mean? And I connected with a person like in a moment while that song was playing. It was a top-notch moment for me, for sure.
I love that. That's theater also, like it shows the value of live performance.
Yes.
It's not the same as watching it on a screen. As much as we all love Tiny Desk and stuff like that, it's nothing like being in the actual room with the people.
Yeah.
That's what makes concerts fun.
Absolutely.
Is bringing it back. Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah. And I also say, like, and I just want to add this because I know, but like, what is an artist after they perform for you? You have an alternator and you have a battery. If there was no alternator, the battery would die quickly because the battery is just shoveling out energy. The alternator needs to give the energy back to the battery. And it's this cycle, right? So when you come and support your favorite artist, you give him, he or she, energy back that then goes into their next project. Mm-hmm. You don't show up for your artists. They don't make the money to do what they need to do. Yes, but they also, their battery will die. Their battery will die. And I would guess that we're going to get another Clipse album because judging by the energy that was given to them in Fairfax, imagine the energy in Virginia Beach, right? How that was. I saw a video of it. The alternator did its job, gave the energy back to the battery, and I think they're going to give us more energy back.
That's what's up. What a beautiful note to end on. I so appreciate you. I so appreciate you, Aaron, and I hope that you come back to the channel when I invite you again to talk more hip hop.
I would love to. It was my pleasure. It was a gift to be able to have this conversation with you. This is a vibe. Like, I did my research and really kind of like dived into your perspective on hip hop. And of course, we chatted before, but I just dived more and more and more into your stuff. And I just have a deep appreciation of the mindfulness that you put into it and the research that you put into it. And I think you examine it through the lens of a person who loves art, or like how a chef looks at, you watch Top Chef and you see a chef tasting the food. It can give people valuable feedback on this was overcooked or this was undercooked or you could have added acidic. I get that vibe from you. And so it was a blessing to share this space with you.
I received that. I really do. Thank you. So how can folks follow you? Are you active on socials or are you more of a private person?
Yeah, no, I'm active on social. I'm looking to actually be more active. I had a website called Polygraph Politics where I would write stories. Work has consumed a lot of my time, but I think I'm going to shift Polygraph Politics to Sincere Rights so that I can just write about things that aren't just policy related. And I can bring hip hop and sport and martial arts and, just interesting cultural moments, and then also add in my love for policy and studying how we can make our democracy better. So you can check out my at Sinless on Instagram, and I'm looking to be a little bit more active and start posting more content.
That's what's up. And I'll put your Instagram link inside the description of this video. And for anybody who is still watching, join the conversation. We hope that you comment. Let us know if you went to the tour, if you had a favorite moment, or even just what your favorite song on Let God Sort 'Em Out is. Follow Aaron, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will holler at y'all next time. Much peace.
You my plan, but I was leaving you that day. You was in God's hands. They was in Elon's waiting to get with me. On my way to Texas, that's when Virginia hit me. And I realized in that instant, our last conversation, you wasn't against it. Told you I was going to Turks for Thanksgiving. I heard what I wanted to hear, but didn't listen. You said you told Gene and Buck needed forgiveness. You see, you went to Diddy's and stuff both for bridges. You even told Dad you wished y'all never split it. So you were checking boxes, I was checking my mentions. Saying you were tired but not ready to go. Basically was dying without letting me know. I love you, Matt Nige. Hate that he won't remember you. Two things that break my heart is what November do. And T follows you. Now mind you, Diddy calls you. G finds you. Was that your vision? Precision. While I'm reminiscing, it all hits different minds. Everybody, we help you free it. Yeah. Then we wait for TMZ to leak it. And then the street, so be it, so be it. Oh, we going for the road, keep it going, let's go slow. Yeah, yeah, so be it, so be it. Put them up, slow. Family wasn't fucking with us. Some niggas get the number and draw. For others, like it's a dice roll. They're waiting on faking for us. When you young, you realize that you can't trust them out where the bike go. They probably couldn't love you enough. Dance music on my neck, winter water bottle, diamond the light show. Looking like the sun in the club. When you ringing up with us, your credit score gotta be FICO. I'm talking 850 above. So you really will power when you make niggas diamonds on P.O.V. You know they not much for the blood. Have my man shoot your block. I'ma send his ass far as the flight go. And when we about stuck in the sun, keep running for your bitches. Cause any minute you know like let God sort them out. I was what a motherfucking year. Gave me love y'all. Let's go.
Oftentimes people come up and say, hey Bruce, are you really that good? I said, well, if I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know I'm lying.